To experience with someone to rock and roll. I know you know that song already.
The Benjamin song?
Yeah. I'm too experienced to be taken on a stroll. I like that song, man.
That must be a remix.
Nah. That's from very to
That
legend.
is so and so different.
Levite mix. Levite mix.
So like, wait, looking for break? What you doing?
What you know?
What? You know, which I didn't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
Madian Wapanya Yarashalam, stand and face Jerusalem. Mashiach's Palal, the Lord's Prayer, Yahweh's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Ayah,
Shamka, Yahweh,
Malakwaka,
Malakwaka, Taba'ah, Atazaika, Ayah, Aisha, Barataza, Gab, Bashemayim, Vanawa, Lakab, Kol,
Wasalak Nawa, Kawabwath Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kawabwath Yanawa, Wala'a, Tabaya Anawa, Banasaya 1, Abal, Hawashai Nawa, Man, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha Allah, Wahat Tapa Ara, La Awalam, Ba'asham, Hamashiach, Yahushai, Tawara, Aman.
The book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, that will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive men not their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Abana Yahweh Shema Sekel Shai, the order from Yad Aman.
Aman. Yashabiam. You see it? Shabbat Shalom Yasharala. All praise the Most High, power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. To what again to the Most High for bringing us together. Bring Israel together in holy convocation as per the covenant that he made with our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We are the Light of Zion located down here in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, 2937 West Broad Boulevard. God, my name is El Lapalal. To my left,
Officer Yakazakwala Hamantazak.
Khan. And today, we're gonna go over the book of Judges. This is post immediately after the death of Joshua. In the book of Joshua, read about how Joshua led the children of Israel and the army of Israel in conquest over the heathen nations who were occupying the various lands that the Most High had promised to our forefathers. And the Most High gave those nations into the hands of the children of Israel, and we drove them out for the most part. And now Joshua was stricken in age and passed away, and now it's a new era, the era when Israel is basically situated in the land. The Most High had used Joshua to cross over the river Jordan and distributed the various territories to the respective tribes, and also give portions of the land amongst the 12 tribes to the Levites, because the Levites, according to the Most High commandment, did not have their own land, because their duties were to be amongst the respective tribes and to teach the tribes the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. So now we are entering into a new era where we're setting up now. We are being situated, so to speak, after coming through the wilderness and after going through the various battles with these different nations. We now are getting organized to occupy the land that the Most High promised to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, let's start off with Colossians 3 verse 17.
The book of Colossians chapter 3 verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Shema Shai, giving thanks to the power and the Father by him.
Right, whatever you do in word or deed, meaning what? Whatever you say or whatever action you take, make sure they're in accordance to the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, and you always give thanks to the Most High and the Mashiach Yahushua. Okay? Now let's go to Judges chapter 1, verse 1.
The book of Judges chapter 1 verse 1. Now, after the death of Joshua, it came to pass that the children of Israel asked the Lord, saying, who shall go up for us against the Canaanites first to fight against them?
Right. So now the Canaanites were still occupying the land. All the heathens were not actually driven out. There were a lot of them still lurking around and still occupying certain strongholds, which Israel needed to drive them from, and that included the Canaanites. So now the task was the question was asked was which tribe or which combination of tribes was going to take on the responsibility of going up against the Canaanites, because that was a mighty army. Read.
And the Most High said, Judah shall go up before. And the Most High said, Judah shall go up. Behold, I have delivered the land into his hand.
And see that? The Most High said, Judah shall go up. Behold, I have delivered the land into his hand. So the Most High letting them know in advance that it's a mere formality that you go up against the Canaanites, because I have already delivered the Canaanites into your hand. All you got to do is organize, go in the spirit, take orders according to the people the Most High set up in charge of the military, and the victory shall be yours. Read.
And Judah said unto Simeon his brother, come up with me into my lot, that we may fight against the Canaanites.
Right. So if you can you get that map up there, right? Yeah, get the map. And Judah said unto Simeon his brother, come up with me into my lot, that we may fight against the Canaanites. We're going to take a look at the map of ancient Israel after the lands were distributed to various tribes. And what we're going to notice is that Simeon was right smack in the middle of Judah's territory. So it was very convenient that that Simeon should assist Judah in the fight against the Canaanites. Can you shift the camera? I move the map up a little bit to show the rest of Judah. Yeah, there it is. No, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's. Is a camera focusing it? Yeah, right. See, yeah, there it is. That's Judah right there in the southern portion of Israel. Judah is bordering the Philistines to the west coast, and the Edomites to the southeastern coast. And in the middle of Judah got a lot of land. In the middle of Judah's territory, Simeon was there. So Judah, will you go with me to fight against the Canaanites? And let's see what the response was.
And the Lord said, and the Most High said, Judah shall go up. Behold, I have delivered the land into his hand. And Judah said unto Simeon his brother, come up with me into my lot, that we may fight against the Canaanites. and I likewise will go with thee into thy lot.
Right. So the lot fell in Judah to go up against the Canaanites, and he asked Simeon to go up with him to fight against the Canaanites. In exchange that when the lot falls on Simeon to go up against another heathen nation, then Judah will also go with Simeon. Go on.
So Simeon went with him, and Judah went up, and the Most High delivered the Canaanites and the Perizzites into their hand, and they slew of them in Bezek 10,000 men.
Right. So Simeon accepted the invitation, so to speak, and went with Judah, and they slew 10,000 of the Canaanites that the Most High delivered into their hands. Read.
And they found Adonai Bezek in Bezek, and they fought against him, and they slew the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and Adonai Bezek fled, and they pursued after him and caught him and cut off his thumbs and his great toes.
Right, that was must be a great humiliation, man. Have someone got kept to you, cut off your thumb and a great toes. It's like they're making a mockery of you. I mean, you're at war and you're a king of a nation and you got captured and they cut off your I mean, it's like you can't walk and you can't hold anything. You're useless. I mean, we're just gonna make a mockery of you. Let's just so your people, if you're the king and you're useless like that, then psychologically, the rest of your nation is gonna have the same mindset. They're useless. Your thumb is gone and the big toes are gone. They can't balance when they walk and they can't hold on to anything. I read.
And Adonai Bezek said, 70 kings, having their thumbs and their great toes cut off, gather their meat under my table, as I have done, so the Most High requiteth me. And they brought him to Jerusalem, and there he died.
Right. So they brought them to Jerusalem, and he died. Read.
Now the children of Judah have fought against Jerusalem, and had taken it and smitten it with the edge of the sword, and set the city on fire. And afterward the children of Judah went down to fight against the Canaanites that dwelt in the mountain, and in the south, and in the valley. And Judah went against the Canaanites that dwelt in Hebron. Now the name of Hebron before was Kirjath Arba.
Let's take a look at the map. That's Hebron right here. Right, exactly. See, Hebron is right just north. What's that? The northwest of yes, it's in Judah's territory. It's in the territory that Judah occupies now. Occupied during that time, but the Canaanites are still there. I read.
Now the name of Hebron before was Kirjath Arba, and they slew Shisha and Ahiman and Talmai, and from thence he went against the inhabitants of Debir, and the name of Debir before was Kirjath Shepher. And Caleb said, He that smiteth Kirjath Shepher, and taken it, to him will I give Achsah, my daughter, to wife.
Right. So Caleb was the host of the military. Caleb was one of the two men who left out of Egypt, who actually made it into the wilderness, who actually made it into the promised land. The others died in the wilderness. Caleb and Joshua were the only two who made it into the promised land. And this is just immediately after Joshua's death. And Joshua was 110 years old when he died. So Caleb was also up there in age. So he was given incentive unto the young soldiers to go and conquer these kings. Hey, his daughter must have been a beautiful woman. I'm going to give him a beautiful daughter to anyone who captured the city. Read.
And Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother, took it, and he gave him Aksah his daughter to wife. And it came to pass, when she came to him, that she moved him to ask of her father a field. And she lightened from off her donkey, and Caleb said unto her, What wilt thou? And she said unto him, Give me a blessing, for thou hast given me a south land. Give me also springs of water. And Caleb gave her the upper springs, and not the
Nether Springs.
nether springs.
Yeah, you know, Caleb gotten a lot of land also because you know, up as it would the military man as one of the men who made it from Egypt into the promised land, and also because of his military valiancy, his military prowess, and all that. You know, he was a man of renown, man of renown. So he was rewarded with a lot of land. So he was able to give his daughter a various portion of the land. Read.
And the children of the Kenite, Moses' father-in-law, went up out of the city of palm trees with the children of Judah into the wilderness of Judah, which lieth in the south of Arad. And they went and dwelt among the people. Judah went with Simeon his brother, and they slew the Canaanites that inhabited in Zephath, and utterly destroyed it. And the name of the city was called Hermah. Also Judah took Gaza and the coast thereof, and Ashkelon with the coast thereof, and Ekron with the coast thereof.
Yeah, let me see those places. Gaza, okay. Right there, yeah. Actually, to the coast. He took the coast of the land, right there in the Mediterranean Sea. Gaza, Ashkelon.
The other map. Because the other one has Ekron on it too. The other one has more cities mentioned on it.
Than this one?
You remember the map we have right here?
I'm
talking about that picture. We have that one.
Okay. See those coastal cities. Those coastal cities actually belong to the Philistines. Is that it?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Can Brad? You zoom. Yeah.
Yeah, you see Ekron right there? Ekron, yeah. Yeah, that's one of the cities that they took also.
Right. Yeah. Eglon, yeah. So all those cities, Judah took those cities. Gaza, Ashkelon, Ashdod, yeah. Those were the coastal cities that belong to the Canaanites. Actually, the Philistines occupied those lands also. Occupied those lands also. Read.
Also, Judah took Gaza with the coast thereof, and Ashkelon with the coast thereof, and Ekron with the coast thereof.
What verse here?
Verse 18.
Okay.
Or verse 19. And the Most High was with Judah, and he drave out the inhabitants of the mountain, but could not drive out the inhabitants of the valley, because they had chariots of iron.
Right. So Judah drove out the inhabitants of the mountains, but could not drive out the inhabitants of the valley, because they had chariots of iron. So they had a lot of that was the stronghold of the military in the valley. They had a lot of chariots. We're going to find out later why the Moses actually left a remnant of those heathens, the Canaanites, back amongst the children of Israel. As you see right here, they were supposed to be totally driven out, and Israel succeeded for the most part in accomplishing that mission. But a remnant was still left behind of those of the Canaanites. Read.
Verse 20. And they gave Hebron unto Caleb, as Moses said, and he expelled thence the 3 sons of Anak.
Right. And they gave Hebron. Hebron was given to Caleb, as Moses had promised, and he expelled thence the 3 sons of Anak. You know, Anak was a giant. So the three sons of Anak were, descendants of giants, or they were men of renown in their own right. But the Mosai was with Caleb and the children of Israel, so no one was able to stand in their way. Read.
Verse 21. And the children of Benjamin did not drive out the Jebusites that inhabited Jerusalem.
And the children of Benjamin did not drive out the Jebusites that inhabited Jerusalem. See, yeah, right there, you see Benjamin, Jerusalem. It's land of Benjamin right there, actually, in yellowish color. Jerusalem, with the southern portion of Benjamin's land, close to the border with Judah. But Benjamin wasn't able to drive out immediately, drive out totally the people of Jerusalem, the Canaanites that dwelt in Jerusalem. So they were there while the Israelites were occupying the land. Read.
And the children of Benjamin did not drive out the Jebusites that inhabited Jerusalem, but the Jebusites dwell with the children of Benjamin in Jerusalem unto this day. And the house of Joseph, they also went up against Bethel, and the Most High was with them. And the house of Joseph sent to describe Bethel. Now the name of the city before was Luz.
Right. So Joseph, which was Ephraim and Manasseh, okay, they also had a task. It was Bethel. It was Bethel.
Right here, it's within the
Luz and right. Okay, here it is, Bethel. Right.
the land of Benjamin.
Oh, actually, it looks like it was on the border of with Ephraim and Benjamin. Yeah. Bethel. Yeah. Khan, read on.
Verse 24. And the spies saw a man come forth out of the city, and they said unto him, Show us, we pray thee, the entrance into the city, and we will show thee mercy. And when we showed them the entrance into the city, they smote the city with the edge of the sword, but they let go the man and all his family.
See, Israel, we keep covenant, man. The Most High kept covenant with us, and we kept our word with anyone of the other nations who helped us. Just like Israel kept, we kept our word. Those two spies that went to spy out the land of Jordan, of Jericho, rather, before we actually took that city. The two spies were held by the harlot Rachel and Rahab, rather, the harlot Rahab, and the spies, made an agreement with her that, hey, if you protect us, if you protect us from your people, when you come back to slaughter your city, we will save you and your family. And they did just that. Just like they are keeping the word with this spy, we help them to gain access to the city. They spared him and his family. Read.
Verse 26. And the man went into the land of the Hittites and built a city and called the name thereof Luz, which is the name thereof unto this day.
Right. I believe that's further up north. So the man said, I'm not going to be around there. I'm here. The spirit is life and said, you know what, let me get out of here. No, we went to the land of the Hittites. Where the Hittites.
You want me to read it again?
Read it again, but I think with the Hittites were further north. Read on.
And the man went into the land of the Hittites and built a city and called the name thereof Luz, which is the name thereof unto this day. Neither did Manasseh drive out the inhabitants of Beshian and her towns, nor
Manasseh. Where's Manasseh now? Show me Manasseh.
Tanakh.
Show me the west. Okay, Tanakh. What's it? Beshiam. Okay. So Manasseh wasn't able to totally drive out those heathens in Beth Shan and in Taanach. But they dwelt there amongst the Manassite until the later days. Read on.
And her towns, nor the inhabitants of Dor, and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Ibleam, and her towns, nor the inhabitants of Megiddo, and Megiddo,
Make it okay.
and her towns. But the Canaanites would dwell in that land. And it came to pass, when Israel was strong, they put the Canaanites to tribute, and did not utterly drive them out. Neither did Ephraim drive out the Canaanites that dwelt in Gezer, but the Canaanites dwelt in Gezer among them. Neither did Zebulun drive out the inhabitants of Kitron, nor the inhabitants of Nahalol. But the Canaanites dwelt among them, and became tributaries. Neither did Asher drive out the inhabitants of Akkon, nor the inhabitants of Zidon, nor of Alam, nor of Akzib, nor of Helba, nor of Aphik, nor of Rehob. But the Asherites dwelt among the Canaanites and the inhabitants of the land, for they did not drive them out. Neither did Naphtali drive out the inhabitants of Beth Shemesh, nor the inhabitants of Beth Anath, but he dwelt among the Canaanites, the inhabitants of the land. Nevertheless, the inhabitants of Beth Shemesh and Beth Anath became tributaries unto them.
Right. So we could see now that the Canaanites, they were a much stronger army than some of the other heathen nations. Plus, they know the terrain more than Israel, so they're able to maneuver themselves around and evade and evade the attack that Israel and the different tribes of Israel was launching against them. So they were able to dwell amongst the Israelites, and Israel seen that, you know what, they're not another threat to us. They're not a threat to us, because I guess Israel figured that just like that nation, Gibeon, the nation of Gibeon, were right there in the land of Israel, that pretended to be from a far country, when in fact they were right there, and Israel decided, you know what, we're gonna keep our word. We made a covenant with you. You pull a quick one on us, but we're going to keep our word. So we're not going to go back on our word and slaughter you, but we're going to make you, our pay tributes to us. Our bondmen and bondwomen, so to speak. Bondwomen, yeah. So I guess Israel kind of got accustomed to that. You know what? We need people to do this and that for us. So seeing that we have the might over you, you're no longer a threat to us military wise. So we're not gonna pursue after you much more. We're just gonna put you in a subjection to us and have you pay tributaries to us. Right?
Oh, can I say something, Elder?
Yeah.
It's interesting when you read in the first chapter how is when it said that Israel became strong, they didn't use that strength that was given to them by the Most High to drive them out, but they chose to begin turn them into tributaries, allowing them to stay within them. And it's funny that the Most High said that in the book of Joshua in the last chapter, how these people are going to become a snare unto us. We're going to see in chapter 2 how they became. Before the chapter 1 ends, we're going to see how they became a snare unto us.
Yeah, because the Most High knew exactly how the script was going to be played out. Just like Moses knew also. I read on.
The book of Judges, chapter 1, verse 34. And the Amorites forced the children of Dan into the mountain, for they would not suffer them to come down to the valley. But the Amorites would dwell in Mount Heres, in Aijalon, and in Sha'albim.
Right. Let me see. Where'd it go? Let me see that now with Dan. It's further north though. It's Dan.
Oh, down.
It's Dan, right?
Oh,
We got
the
it.
city.
Yeah, where's Dan?
Down.
Yeah, there it is. Right, Khan. Right. So the Amorites who dwelt in that land that Dan occupied, they put about a strong resistance against Dan also because Dan was not able to go down into the valley, just like Ephraim or was it Judah. I wasn't able to go penetrate the valleys where the Canaanites were with their with the chariots. The same thing, they are because in the valleys now they in the open and they have a lot of chariots because we were not organized in that sense where we had weapons and all that. Understand? We didn't have all those weapons because we were just coming out of the wilderness. But they were occupying the land. They had all the time in the world to build all those chariots and all that. So that was a strong that was a weapon of war.
There's right there. You see Shalamah with them. It's like it's over the border.
But
it was most likely probably on the borderline between the tribes. So Ephraim and Dan.
Oh, okay.
It's within Ephraim.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. I'll read on.
Yet the hand of the hand of the house of Joseph prevailed, so that they became tributaries. And the coast of the Amorites was from the going up to Akrab.
What verse is that now?
Verse 36.
36. Okay, and the coast of the Amorites was from going up to Akrabin. Let me see, where's that? Akrabin. Go on, read on.
From the rock and upward.
Read on.
Chapter 2. And an angel of the Most High came up from Gilgal to Bochim and said, I made you to go up out of Egypt and have brought you out unto the land which I swear unto your fathers. And I said, I will never break my covenant with you, and ye shall make no league with the inhabitants of this land. You shall throw down their altars, but ye have not obeyed my voice. Why have ye done this?
See that? The Most High told him not to make any league with these nations, but that's all they've been doing. The first league they made with the nation was when they were tricked by the people of Gibeon. You see Gibeon right there.
Yeah, I see it.
Gibeon right there. That was in the land of Benjamin. Okay, so they were paying tribute to the nation of Israel, or just the tribe of Benjamin. And then all of a sudden, the tribes, instead of driving out the inhabitants of the land, they made leagues with them and have them paying tribute. Moses wasn't pleased with that. Read.
But ye have not obeyed my voice. Why have ye done this? Wherefore I also said, I will not drive them out from before you, but they shall be as thorns in your sides, and their gods shall be a snare unto you. And it came to pass, when the angel of the Most High spake these words unto all the children of Israel, that the people lifted up their voice and wept. And they called the name of that place Bochim. And they sacrificed there unto the Most High.
Right. The Most High sent an angel to speak with them, to let them know what you've been doing is not right. You haven't obeyed the words of the Most High. The Most High said not to make any league with these nations, but it turns out that's exactly what you did. And the Most High said, I'm going to make leave the nations amongst you to be a thorn in your side. And that's what it appears to be. Right, verse 6, read on.
The book of Judges, chapter 2, verse 6. And when Joshua had let the people go, the children of Israel went every man unto his inheritance to possess the land. And people served the Lord all the days of Joshua and all the days of the elders that outlived Joshua, who had seen all the great works of the Most High, that he did for Israel. And Joshua the son of Nun, the servant of the Most High, died, being 110 years old.
Right. So that's how long Joshua lived. 210 years old. Read.
And they buried him in the border of his inheritance in Timnath Heres, and in the mount of Ephraim, on the north side of the hill of Gaash. And also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers, and there arose another generation after them, which knew not the Most High, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel.
Right. See now. And also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers. So the generation that went into the land of Israel with Joshua, that generation died out, and then another generation came up after them. But they did not know the how could they not have known the word of the Most High or the works that the Most High did? That's because the fathers didn't pass on that information unto their children. And because they died off without passing the information on to their children, that's when the children start being alienated from the Most High. That's why the Most High said in Psalm 78. That's what you got? Go ahead and get it out. Psalm 78 and 5.
The book of Psalms chapter 78 verse 5. For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children, that the generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, who should arise and declare them in their children.
Right. That's a commandment that the Most High gave to Israel. He established a testimony in Israel and a law in Joseph, that they should make those laws, statutes, and commandments be known from generation to generation, so that all Israel shall know the Most High continually. Go on.
Isn't it pretty much also we can say that there is look at that we are mingling among the other nations?
Right.
We pretty much make link with them. Isn't it that same thing? Because now I see since we are from the Caribbean, oftentimes I see that folks that came here via boats, it is for them it is a shame to tell the children how
Okay.
they were living in Jamaica, in Haiti, or in Trinidad.
Oh, okay. So kind of see a point on that, but at the same time, Israel should not have been ashamed because they had the upper hand. I see in the case you're talking about, we were coming from a place of of poverty, destitution, and all that. You know what I mean? We were looked on. They may be ashamed to say, yeah, they're coming from this and that. So yeah.
Being mistreated by the Egyptians. Because under these things, when you were with 6, I said that when you got with the children, tell them about the commandments.
Right. But in this case, it was just stubborn, hard-headed.
Oh, you want me to read on?
No, because back in the time, these men, even though they were coming out of Egypt, they should have been proud of that. Because of what? Because of what the Most High did for them coming out of Egypt, and the deliverance that the Most High delivered them. I understand they should have been proud of that and say to show how close they were to the Most High, how special they were. But plus they were in a position of rulership. Understand? The other nations heard about what we did, and they trembled. The other nation heard about how the Most High delivered us, and how the Most High delivered all those different nations into our hand. And they trembled and feared the Most High and feared us because of that. So that's what they should have been teaching, but they just. But because of not showing gratitude, that's what the scripture says. Joshua 1 walk spat and kick. They walk spat. They were living. They were starving in the wilderness. Now living, being a slave in Egypt. But now they got all this land, living lavishly. They got people serving them. They forgot who gave it to them. They forgot that it was the Most High who gave all those things to them. They forgot that it was the Most High who delivered those nations into their hand, and now have those nations paying tributaries to them. So the children did learn of the Most High, because they weren't being taught of the Most High. And that's the beginning of the downfall. Read. No, go back to Judges. Is more?
2 more verses.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. That they might set their hope in the Most High and not forget the works of the Most High,
Right.
but keep his commandments.
Right.
And might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation. And generation has set not their heart aright, whose spirit was not steadfast with the Most High.
Right. That was the intention of having the laws, statutes, and commandment passed on from one generation to the next. That the children might set their hope in the Most High and remember the works of the Most High, and not be as rebellious and stubborn as their forefathers. Now go back to Judges.
Chapter 2, verse 10. The book of Judges, chapter 2, verse 10.
God.
And also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers, and there arose another generation after them, which knew not the Most High, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Most High, and served Baalim. And they forsook the Most High of their fathers, which had brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other powers of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked the Most High to anger.
Right. So now, and the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Most High, and served Baalim, and they forsook the Most High Yahweh, the power of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods, other powers of the gods of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked the Most High to anger. So that now they were being seduced, indoctrinated by the other nations, and they have totally forsaken the Most High, and forgot how the Most High delivered them, and all that the Most High did for our people. Read.
And they forsook the Most High, and served Baal and Ashtaroth, and the anger of the Most High was hot against Israel.
And they forsook the Most High and served Baal and Ashtaroth, the gods of the other nations, ancient Babylonian gods, Ashtaroth, Ishtarthe. Read on.
And the anger of the Most High was hot against Israel, and he delivered them into the hands of spoilers that spoiled them, and he sold them into the hands of their enemies round about, so that they could not any longer stand before their enemies.
Look at that. They just got into the land, and in the process of time, because of their disobedience, the Most High delivered them into those enemies that were round about them. Read.
Whithersoever they went out, the hand of the Most High was against them for evil, as the Most High had said, and as the Most High had sworn unto them, and they were greatly distressed. Nevertheless, the Most High raised up judges, which delivered them out of the hand of those that spoiled them, And yet they would not hearken unto their judges, but they went a whoring after other powers, and bowed themselves unto them, and turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked in, obeying the commandments of the Most High. But they did not so. And when the Most High raised them up judges.
See, the Most High, even they disobeyed the Most High weakened them and strengthened the enemies round about them. And the enemies now are them in captivity. But the Most High always had judges. When they cried unto the Most High for deliverance, the Most High raised up certain judges to deliver them out of the hand of the enemies. But as soon as they got delivered from the enemies, they went right back to serving the gods of the other nations. They went right back to the wickedness. They went right back to serving Balaam, Ashtaroth, and all those other idols. Read.
Verse 18. And when the Most High raised them up judges, then the Most High was with the judge, and delivered them out of the hand of their enemies all the days of the judge. For it repented the Most High because of their groanings, by reason of them that oppressed them and vexed them. And it came to pass, when the judge was dead, that they returned and corrupted themselves more than their fathers, in following other powers to serve them and to bow down unto them. They cease not from their own doings, nor from their stubborn way.
Right. As soon as the Most High, there's certain judges that were doing the right thing, keeping the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, and the Most High was with those judges who would pray to the Most High and get deliverance from the heathens went about. But as soon as those judges were dead, what happened? What did Israel do? They went right back to the wickedness, right back to worshiping the idols, right back to serving the other gods. Read.
Verse 20. And the anger of the Most High was hot against Israel. And he said, because that this people have transgressed my covenant which I commanded their fathers, and have not hearkened unto my voice, I will also will not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations which Joshua left when he died, that through them I may prove Israel whether they will keep the way of the Most High to walk therein as their fathers did, keep it or not. Therefore the Most High left those nations without driving them out hastily, neither delivered he them into the hand of Joshua.
Right. So the Most High was so angry with them. The Most High said, you know what? I'm not going to drive out these nations from amongst you. I'm going to leave them there to further try you, man. All right, go to chapter 3.
The book of Judges, chapter 3, verse 1. Now these are the nations which the Most High left to prove Israel by them, even as many of Israel as had not known all the wars of Canaan, only that the generation of Israel might know, to teach them war, at least such as before knew nothing thereof. Namely, 5 lords of the Philistines, and all the Canaanites, and the Zidonians, and the Hittites that dwell in Lebanon.
Read on.
From Mount Baal Hermon unto the entering of Hamath. They were proved of Israel. They will prove Israel by them, to know whether they would hearken unto the voice, hearken unto the commandments of the Most High, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses. And the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hittites, and Jebusites. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their powers.
Right. Hold on. Get Deuteronomy 7. Because they do the opposite of what the Most High commanded them to do. You know what I'm saying?
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 1. When the Most High thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Most High thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter shalt not give unto thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other powers. So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you.
Right. See that and that. Yeah, right. That was a commandment the Most High gave them. Going into the land. Don't make any covenant with them, just slaughter them. Don't give your daughters to your son or the sons to your daughters. Because they would keep you from serving the Most High, and they would serve their gods. And the anger of the Most High will be kindled against you. And that's exactly what's happening now. They did the opposite of what the Most High commanded them to do. Now go back to Judges 3, verse 6.
Oh, 6? Yeah, 6. The book of Judges, chapter 3, verse 6. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their powers. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Most High, and forget the Most High their power, and serve Baalim and the groves thereof. Therefore the anger of the Most High was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of Cushan Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia. And the children of Israel served Cushan Rishathaim 8 years. And when the children of Israel cried unto the Most High raised up a deliverer to the children of Israel, who delivered them, even Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. And the spirit of the Most High came upon him, and he judged Israel, and went out to war. And the Most High delivered Cushan Rishathaim, king of Mesopotamia, into his hand, and the hand prevailed against Cushan Rishathaim.
Right. So, because of Israel's disobedience, he delivered them into the enemy's hands, the king of Mesopotamia. But Israel cried unto the Most High, and the Most High raised up a judge, Othniel, the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. You know what I mean? So from the same military lineage, the Most High raised up judges to deliver Israel again out of the hand of the Mesopotamians. Read.
And the land had rest 40 years. And Othniel, son of Kenaz, died. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Most High. And the Most High strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Most High. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel, and possessed the city of palm trees.
See that? The Most High raised up some old enemies. He raised up Moab. Raised up strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because he had done evil in the sight of the Most High. And Moab gathered with him Ammon, is Moab and Ammon, you know, the children of Lot, and Amalek. And the way that I fight against, and they smote Israel and possessed the city of palm trees. Read.
And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel, and possessed the city of palm trees. So the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, 18 years. But when the children of Israel cried unto the Most High raised them up a deliverer, Ehud, the son of Gera, a Benjamite, a man left-handed. And by him the children of Israel sent a present unto Eglon, the king of Moab. But Ehud made him a dagger which had two edges of a cubit length, and he went and he did gird it under his raiment upon his right thigh. And he brought the present unto Eglon, king of Moab. And Eglon was a very fat man. And when he had made an end to offer the present, he sent away the people that bear the present. But he himself turned again from the couriers that were by Gilgal.
Gilgal. Okay. Gilgal. Okay.
Gilgal, and said, I have a secret errand unto thee, O king, who said, keep silence. And all that stood by him went out from him. And Ehud came unto him, and he was sitting in a summer parlor, which he had for himself alone. And Ehud said, I have a message from the Most High unto thee. And he arose out of his seat, and Ehud put forth his left hand, and took the dagger from his right thigh, and thrust it into his belly. And the haft also went in after the blade.
And the haft also went in. Okay, the handle of the knife. yeah. The handle of the knife went in with the blade. Yeah. And the haft also went in after the blade. Must have all that fat gonna suck his hand in. Right?
And the haft also went in after the blade, and the fat closed upon the blade, so that he could not draw the dagger out of his belly. And the dirt came out. Then Ehud went forth through the porch, and shut the doors of the parlor upon him, and locked them. When he was gone out, his servants came, and when he had saw that, behold, the doors of the parlor were locked, they said, surely he covereth his feet in his summer chamber.
Right. So they thought it was asleep because Ehud locked the door of the parlor, his chamber. And when the people saw that the doors were locked, they thought he was in there sleeping. And I realized that he just got stabbed.
Stabs got put on him.
Read on.
Okay. Verse 25. And they tarried till they were ashamed. And behold, he opened not the doors of the parlor. Therefore they took a key and opened them. And behold, their Lord was fallen down dead on the earth. And Ehud escaped while they tarried, and passed beyond the couriers, and escaped unto Seirath. And it came to pass, when he was come, that he blew a trumpet in the mountain of Ephraim. And the children of Israel went down with him from the mount. And he before them. And he said unto them, follow after me, for the Most High have delivered your enemies, the Moabites, into your hand. And they went down after him, and took the fords of Jordan toward Moab, and suffered not a man to pass over. And they slew of Moab at that time about 10,000 men, all lusty, and all men of valor. And there escaped not a man.
Right. So he heard Benjamin gathered all gathered the Israelites now to go down to war against Moab after he slew Eglon. Yeah, after they slew Eglon, and they slew now 10,000 of the Moabites. Read.
So Moab was subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest 80 years. And
So Moab was subdued that day under the hand of Israel, and the land had rest 80 years. A score 20 years, 80 years. So Israel had peace for 80 years. It was like on and off, on and off, on and off. You know what I mean? On again, off again. Thing with the Most High. For a certain amount of time, they obey the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. The Most High give them peace from the enemies round about. You're in Judges chapter 3, verse 30. And the Most High give them rest from the enemies round about. Then they go back, they wax fat and kick again, and go back to disobeying the Most High, worshiping idols. Then the Most High deliver them into the hands of their enemies. Read on.
Verse 31. And after him was Shamgar, the son of Anath, who slew of the Philistines 600 men with an ox god, and he also delivered Israel.
Right. Okay, we're gonna wrap it up with chapter 4.
We done?
Yeah, chapter 4.
Gone. The book of Judges, chapter 4, verse 1. And the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Most High. When Ehud was dead.
That's what the Most High always got to have someone strong. To enforce the laws, statutes, and commandments. Because if there's somebody weak, then Israel always got to be led. They're so easily persuaded. I don't know, to do right or to do evil. That's how it's always been. Especially when they see the Most High use someone to deliver them out of the hand of the enemies, then they will be loyal to that person because they see that the Most High is with that person. But as soon as that person is passed away, they go right back to the wickedness. That's a history of Israel. Chapter 4.
The book of Judges, chapter 4, verse 1. And the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Most High. When Ehud was dead, and the Most High sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, and the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Harosheth of the Gentiles. And the children of Israel cried unto the Most High, for he had 900 chariots of iron, and 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Israel. And Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lap-Idoth, she judged Israel at that time. And she dwelt under the palm tree of Deborah, between Ramah and Bethel in Ephraim. And the children of Israel came up to her for judgment. And she sent and called Barak, the son of Abim-Om, and out of Kadesh, Naphtali, and said unto him, hath not the Most High power of Israel commanded, saying, go and draw toward Mount Tabor, and take with thee 10,000 men of the children of Naphtali and of the children of Zebulun, and I will draw unto thee to the river of Kishon Sisera, the captain of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his multitude, and I will drive him into thine hand.
Deliver.
Oh, kind of. And I will deliver him into thy hand. And Barak said unto her, if thou wilt go with me, then I will go. But if thou wilt not go with me, then I will not go. And she said, I will surely go with thee, notwithstanding the journey that thou takest shall not be for thine honor. For the Most High shall sell Sisera into the hand of a woman. And Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kadesh. And Barak...
Right, so a lot of Eve know about Deborah. What about Deborah? You all bring. What about Deborah? What do you mean all the prophets of the Most High are men? What about Deborah?
Bro, man, that's a girl.
You know what I mean? So, because she was a judge of Israel during the time of the judges. But we always say, yeah, but she consulted with the Barak. Yeah, I'm saying. So, the Most High, yeah, there are various cases in the scripture where the Most High used a woman to deliver Israel from all the captivity.
Like
Deborah, huh? Esther, Judith. Yeah, the Most High always use and not always, but are cases where the Most High used women to deliver Israel out of the bondage that we were in. And Deborah is one example of that. She was a judge of Israel. Brother, I don't want to get into that, but some sisters have already done that. Yeah, there are female camps out there, you know what I mean? Sisters out there teaching and all that, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's way off, yeah. Yeah, there are female camps out there, you know what I mean? Sisters out there teaching and all that, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's way off, yeah. You know, read the scripture where you can teach other sisters or the females, but I mean, as far as teaching is, but as far as teaching the congregation, that's reserved for the men of the Most High. Right.
The voice behind the curtains.
Read that verse, man.
Verse 10. The book of Judges, chapter 4, verse 10. And Barak called Zebulun and Naphtali to Kadesh, and he went up with 10,000 men at his feet, and Deborah went up with him. Now Heber the Kenite, which was of the children of Hobad, the father-in-law of Moses, had served himself from the Kenites, and pitched his tent unto the plain of Zanaim, which is by Kadesh. And they showed Sisera that Barak the son of Abin-Om was gone up to Mount Tabor. And Sisera gathered together all his chariots, even 900 chariots of iron, and all the people that were with him, from Harosheth of the Gentiles onto the river of Kishon.
Right. So Sisera, the king of Canaan, he and his 900 chariots and horsemen thereof gathered themselves together to fight war against Barak, who had 10,000 foot soldiers with him, out of Naphtali and Zebulun for the most part. Yeah, those were the two tribes who are leading this attack right here against the Canaanites. Let me see where that where's that is. Where's that? Naphtali. Further up, yeah. Naphtali and Zebulun. You did right there. Naphtali and Zebulun.
Right there.
Khan. Kadesh, yeah.
It's in Naphtali's land.
Right, Khan. Exactly. So the right smack in the Kadesh. Yeah, that's where the Canaanites were. Right. So
We'll find out.
So
He was asking what tribe they were from.
Deborah, it seems they were Naphtali, because go back a few verses in chapter right there in chapter 4. I mean that's
chapter 4, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Judges, chapter 4, verse 4. And Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, she judged Israel at that time, and she dwelt under the palm tree of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel.
Well, let me see what that between Ramah and Bethel.
In Mount Ephraim.
In Mount Ephraim.
Yeah.
Okay, so she Bethel. So she probably about Bethel. Bethel looks like Benjamin land too.
Yeah, remember
on the border.
It was on the borderline.
between
Oh,
between Ramah and Bethel. She was probably a Benjamite. Yeah, she was probably a Benjamite.
it just said
Because Ramah's right smack in the land of Benjamin.
it said Mount Ephraim.
Yeah, well, that's Benjamin land though. Can't. Most others use Benjamin women. Another Esther Deborah. Hey. Most I use Benjamin women to perform this. I don't know if she's Benjamin, but at least it, the where she dwelt, the territory where she dwelt, those territories are right smack in the middle of Benjamin portion of land. I read on.
Con.
And she sent and called Barak, right? Because that means Barak was in a different location. Read verse 6. Read on.
Read verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
It says in the book of Judges, chapter 4, verse 6, and she sent and called Barak, the son of Abin Om, out of Kadesh Naphtali.
She sent and called Barak out of Kadesh Naphtali. Go back up to Naphtali. Yeah, yeah. So she called Kadesh. Yeah, that's a long way. Yeah, okay, right. What means of communication they use? Well, you had men. You had men who moved from amongst the tribes. You know what I mean? It may take a Sabbath their journey to get there, but but you know what I mean. But you had men who play those roles, carry messages from one tribe to the next. Plus, we also had about the trumpets that they might have used to but for the most part, I think men traveled from different territories to the next, delivering message from one ruler to the next. Right, yeah. That was that happened. Yeah, but I moved from one tribe to the next. Read on.
You want me to read on, or you want me to
I'll go back. We can see that Barak now was from Kadesh Naphtali. So he was from the land of Naphtali. Deborah seems she was from Benjamin, and Barak was from Naphtali. So she sent and called Barak. Barak was from a different location, land of Naphtali. Go back to the reverse, right?
I think it's verse 13.
All right.
Verse 13. Sisera gathered together all his chariots, even 900 chariots of iron, and all the people that were with him, from Harosheth of the Gentiles unto the river of Kishon. And Deborah said unto Barak, Up, for this is the day in which the Most High hath delivered Sisera into thy hand.
Right. So Deborah said, come on, let's go. Let's do this. This is the day when the Most High delivers Sisera into your hand. Read on.
Is not the Most High gone up before thee? So Barak went down from Mount Tabor, and 10,000 men after him.
See, the way she asked, that was like a rhetorical question she was asking. Is not the Most High gone before you? Don't you see the Most High is leading you in this battle? What are you waiting for? Right?
Oh, can I say a point? It's interesting because sisters, like you were saying, they'll try to use this to try to lead camps. But if you pay attention in the order of things, even though she's a judge, she's telling these things to Barak, and Barak is commanding the men. It just said that he went down, and the men went after Barak, not Deborah.
Right. So yeah. So in this case, in previous cases, the judges were like were leading the military, were leading the army, but in this case, I mean, she paid respect unto the man that she know who was over the army. But the Most High, the Most High has an order though, and I'm saying the Most High never leaves out the head of the nation. Who's I'm saying they're always apart. There's always there's always coordination between the military, the priest, and the government. Understand? That's how that was. Right. There's a mention of the priest in this case, but I'm sure consultation was there.
Was being made.
Yeah, it was being made with the priest. It's always been that way. Been that way coming out of Egypt. Right?
Is not the Most High gone out before thee? So Barak went down from Mount Tabor, and 10,000 men after him. And the Most High discomfited Sisera and all his chariots and all his hosts with the edge of the sword before Barak, so that Sisera lighted down off his chariot and fled away on his feet. And Barak pursued after the chariots and after the hosts unto Haroseth of the Gentiles. And all the hosts of Sisera fell upon the edge of the sword, and there was not a man left.
Right. So the most of delivered the Canaanites. Sisera was the host of captain. Delivered them into the hand of Barak and the Israelites, and they slew all of them. Sisera and all his men of war, and there was not one left. There's not one left of them. Read.
Howbeit Sisera fled. Howbeit Sisera fled away on his feet to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber, the Kenite. For there was peace between Jabin, the king of Hazor, and the house of Heber, the Kenite. And Jael went out to meet Sisera and said unto him, Turn in, my lord, turn in to me, fear not. And when he had turned in unto her into the tent, she covered him with a mantle.
Right. So this the Kenites. What were the Kenites? This was another heathen nation that
I think with Midianites.
The Midianites. Yeah. You're right.
Moses. Yeah.
So the Midianites. Yeah, you're right. Our previous scripture said they dwelt among the people. So the Midianites were like they had a league, a friendship with the Canaanites, and so Sisera, the king of the Canaanites, fled to Jabin, to the house of Jabin, and the house of Heber. Well, there was peace between Jabin and the king of Heber. So Sisera fled to Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. Right, and she accommodated him. So it seems. Read on. Verse 19.
Yeah. Verse 19. And he said unto her, Give me, I pray thee, a little water to drink, for I am thirsty. And she opened a bottle of milk and gave him drink, and covered him. And again he said unto her, Stand in the door of the tent, and it shall be, when any man doth come and inquire of thee, and say, Is there any man here? That thou shalt say, No. Then Jael, Heber's wife, took a nail of the tent, and took an hammer in her hand, and went softly unto him, and smote the nail into his temples, and fastened it into the ground. For he was fast asleep and weary. So he died.
Right. So she took him in, put him to bed. This guy, I know you fall asleep in the middle of a war, but he should have been up looking around. I don't know, maybe he was weary. I maybe thought it was safe or something, but she got a nail, and while he was sleeping, while his head was on the pillow, she just drove that nail straight through his temple and fastened it to the ground. Read on.
Verse 22. And behold, as Barak pursued Sisera, Jael came out to meet him, and said unto him, Come, I will show thee the man whom thou seekest. And when he had came into her tent, behold, Sisera lay dead. and the nail was in his temples. So the Most High subdued on that day Jabin, the king of Canaan, before the children of Israel. And the hand of the children of Israel prospered and prevailed against Jabin, the king of Canaan, until they had destroyed Jabin, king of Canaan.
Right. So Deborah was really a prophetess because she did say, "Don't think the hand is going to be yours, Barak, because this day the Most High is going to deliver into the hand of a woman." Maybe Barak didn't know what she was talking about, but the Most High showed Deborah exactly how this is going to be played out. Because even though Barak and the 10,000 men destroyed the Canaanites, the king, he was able to escape and fled to Jael, who hit him for a second, but then ended up slaughtering him. So we're gonna conclude today's class with ending of chapter 4, book of Judges. We're gonna continue most high will next week, and brothers are gonna get prepared for camp duties. Do street teaching to edify the Most High's people and bring them back into the fold. Shamash Kawashai. I would say Tawara, Shamash Kawashai to all Israel. We're watching a live stream, logging on Facebook, YouTube, conference calls. Don't forget tomorrow, the Most High willing, the Sabbath service starts at 12 noon. We're located on here at 2937 West Broward Boulevard, South Florida, Fort Lauderdale. And Madim Wapanya, Yerushalayim, stand and face Jerusalem. Psalms 133. Shayar, Hama Ilwath, Ladawad, Hana, Ma, Tawab, Wama, Naayam, Shabbath, Akyam, Gam, Yakar, Kashaman, Hatawab, Il, Haraash, Yarad, Il, Hazakwan, Zakwan, Haaran, Shayarad, Il, Paya, Madawatyawa, Katal, Karamwan, Shayarad, Al, Haraya, Tazayawan, Kaya, Sham, Tazawa, Yahawa, Ath, Habaraka, Kayawam, Aid, Awalam, Baasham, Amashiach, Hawashai, Tawara, Aman.
The book of Psalms, chapter 133, verse 1. The book of Psalms, chapter 133, verse 1. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Harmon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Yahweh commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Abana Yahweh B'Shem Masek Yahushai, Torah Thomyad Aman.